Today we're going to take a look at a watch that's been in the works a while. It's been a long time coming from Bausele. So I talked to Christo, one of the founders of the brand, had a great conversation, and this piece here is definitely a very passion-driven project. There's other watches. They've been in business for like 14 years. Ups and downs. Obviously, when you're a smaller brand and you're trying to really establish and stuff like that, there's a learning curve, but they stood the test of time, and we have a new model from them, and this is like all in, right? Like, so we have like a lot of passion, and it shows with this project. This is a prototype watch sent to me from Australia, where they're at. But I have to say, as far as prototypes go, because I've handled a lot of prototypes on this channel, this is basically a production model. So I think that clearly shows that Christo chose the right producer for the materials, because when you have a prototype at this high level, then the production models, you're probably within a few percent of what the production model is going to look like. But when you're at that high level already, there's not going to be any issues. Yeah, so that's something to be concerned about with certain brands. I don't think you have that concern with this brand at all with the look of this thing. So let's get into the size of this, and then we'll point out some features that you don't typically see on other watches. This is definitely a unique piece. So I have a couple measurements for the width. First off, the case, you can see is slightly inboard of the bezel. The case is 39.8 millimeter. The bezel width is 40. I wrote down 40 and a half, but I'm pretty sure it was like 40.6. So these are good measurements. I have no problem with the size of this watch. I just want to share them with you. Now, the lug to lug, it's an integrated bracelet, so that's a little more difficult to capture, but 46 millimeter if you were to remove the bracelet and just have the case. And it does actually have quick release spring bars, so if you want to swap that out with a custom fitted strap, or maybe they're going to come out later with some straps for this, some FKM rubber maybe, or something like that would be cool, because this watch is meant to be used, and we'll cover that in a minute. But also look how high that link, that center link that's polished, and it's got a little plastic protective on it, goes up. I mean, it's using all of the real estate within that integrated case bracelet section. Thickness of this thing, again, it's thin. It's only 12.8 or 12.78. I was going to say 12.8, but if we're going to talk points and everything like that, I'll give you what I actually measured. It's 12.78. You can see you have a chamfered flat sapphire crystal. Just proud of that 2-system bezel. So it has a double timing feature. But also on that crystal, if you look, because usually this brand does no date, which I really like. I've actually tried to get my hands on. They have a really cool sandwich dial diver in orange. That's a beautiful diver. Let me move this minute hand out of the way. While I'm doing that, screw down crown, 6 millimeter, signed. Well, not signed, kind of signed. Way more special than just being signed. I'll show you that in a second. But the date magnifier is on the bottom side of this crystal, so you can see it there. So it makes it a little easier to read that date, a lot easier really, but keeps it nice and smooth. You don't have, if you've ever had a watch with a date magnifier on top of the sapphire crystal, it's almost impossible to keep like the little creases around it super clean. So this is easy. You just wipe and you're good to go. And then, okay, width here, because we don't have a lug width, is about 25 and a half, and then this bracelet tapers dramatically down to 18 millimeter. And you have this really nice signed, polished and brushed to match the rest of the bracelet. Fold over, milled, double pusher, and then you have that concealed on the fly quick adjust for your micro adjust. And then you have, at least on this one, I don't know if it's going to change, but this is a split pin design. And I want to speak briefly on that. Let me tell you something about split pin. I've never had a split pin fail. They're super easy to size. I sized this thing in like a minute. And the pins are of good quality. The links are well made. You can see there, this even articulates a little bit. That all helps. Get yourself these little baggies too to store your parts away in the original packaging. So I'm totally fine with split pin because once you size it, you're good to go. You're never going to have a problem with that. And it's super simple. You don't have to worry about getting the right size screwdriver, scratching things up, or anything like that. And pin and collar, I like pin and collar for the most part, but it's a pain in the butt. Split pin's easy. So that's my rant on that. Okay, now back to the watch. The bezel has a dive time feature, and then it has a 12-hour timer on there as well, so you could track a different time zone if you want. It's 120 click. You can see there's plenty of traction on that thing, and it's thin, but yet you can still get a hold of it just about anywhere on the watch. Easier on the sides, but you can still grab it on the top, no problem. And it has a nice, satisfying click, very audible, very tactile, and like no play in the bezel. Not even a back set on it. It's just like, boom, it's clicked, it's good, you're rock solid. Super legible handset, white framed, filled with lume, applied markers. And then if we can try to catch, it's going to be impossible to do this. If you go to the website, which I'll put a link in the description, it has like this little animation. It like kind of deconstructs and then constructs the watch the way it's assembled. And what you might pick up on there and you might not, but it's definitely written and it definitely is visible once you know what you're looking for. Although the dial is textured to simulate the ocean floor, and this one's called the Inferno Black, which is in kind of a volcanic area. So this is what the seabed would look like. There's also an Oceanic Blue, which is much more tropical blue looking. And that's what the floor, if you're in the water, that's what the ocean bottom would look like because of the watercolor. And then the, clean sand, whereas this one has the volcanic ash. But additionally, on top of that texture dial, there's actually a thin layer of flat, glass. So, and then that's why you have the applied markers are really smoothly done. They're not, you don't have to have that conflict. So that, that's what they did a good job of simulating exactly what you would see if you were there in Australia, in the areas. So something really cool. Nice little feature, as well as, get this, check this crown out. That's actual sand from Australia. From like where the beaches are that Christo actually swims at. I think he swims there like every day. So yeah, I don't know if it just naturally gathers in the pocket of his shorts or if he has like a little container he gets it. And then, I don't know how they do that. It can't be that complicated, but it's sealed up in that crown. There's a little, kind of capsule area in there, and there's just a thin layer of material put in there. So pretty cool. It's unique. Did it need to be done? No. Is it kind of slick and it adds to the story of the watch? Absolutely. So that's really cool. Price point on this thing, all of the things I just talked about on this watch. And it has a Sellita SW200 in it with a shock resistant cage. There's no plastic in here either. It's got this cage that holds the movement. There's a thin rubber butyl type thing that is to aid with the shock resistance. And then there's a Faraday cage. So you have all of that in this well done, very uniquely done watch. And the price point on pre-order is only $750 US. So I think that's very competitive. I think this is definitely one to look at. When you look at their other watches on their website, like that diver I was interested, I think that thing's like $1,400. So for this to be offered initially at $750 is a killer deal. I see no downside to it. Let's pop it on wrist real quick. I could probably take another link out. I don't know. I tend to wear, no, I think I would leave it the way it is. I tend to wear integrated bracelets a little loose. I don't know why. And this one's, yeah, I can't get full rotation on it, so I'm good. I have about a 7¼ inch wrist. I took a link out of each side, and the clasp is nearly centered. So I think that looks, feels, and wears great. This is a great looking watch. Let me know what you guys think on this. If you're looking for something unique with a history, because of the age of the company, and then just a tie to Australia, whether you vacation there, whether you want to vacation there, maybe you know somebody there. I don't know. It's just a great looking watch. Now let's give it a quick blast of the UV light. I went a little long on this one. Sorry, but some watches need a little bit more verbiage. We'll turn off the studio lights. Check out the lume on this thing. There we go. So we have a nice healthy application. Looks like to be BGW9. Nice cool blue glow to it. This is a well-sorted watch from a well-sorted brand. Definitely give them a look. I'll see you guys on the next video.